I just watched Cold Harbor, the Severance Season 2 finale. Honestly, I feel like my heart's been ripped out of my chest, chewed up, and spit back out. I'm Real Slim Katie 25. Let's get into it. And this might seem obvious, but if you haven't watched the Severance Season 2 finale, save this video to watch later and come back. I'm obviously going to be talking about spoilers. And Jesus, I don't even know exactly where to start. Yes, we can go in chronological order. Starting at the birthing cabins, I do want to say that I believe I was correct in my theory that Irving was not talking to Cobell on the phone based solely on how shocked she was that he had paintings of the hallway going down to the testing floor. Also, poor Mark S. Mark S. literally woke up in the birthing cabins and his whole life is getting flipped upside down. The hardest part of this episode is wrestling ethically with the ideas of Severance, and I think it's the most in your face with this big idea. What rights do innies have? Are they part of a person or are they a person? And man, this episode really is in your face about that. They really make the audience confront themselves with this, especially starting with this amazing scene between Mark Scout and Mark S. It was beautiful. I mean, at first, Mark S was almost intrigued and amused by getting to see himself. I think both of them were. An absolute shout out to Adam Scott, who just made these two characters feel so different. That you can literally have him be on screen with himself for 10 minutes. And it feels like you're watching two completely different characters. And if there was any doubt at the end of this conversation, Miss Cobell comes up and spells out for us that yes, the files are actually the innies as we kind of knew based on the rooms. And that they were sorting these feelings based on tempers. We already kind of got this information, especially in Chikai Bardo. But they made it very clear if there were any remaining questions. And it sucks because of how much I hate Cobell, but she was being so honest. It's not like Helly and Mark have any possibility of being together. I really, truly believe that. And yes, it was mean, but she was being honest with him. She was being so honest with him. Although I still don't understand her intentions with helping them. Just want to take a moment to remind everybody that she's not mad at Lumen because she doesn't agree with what they're doing, because they're hurting people, because Severance is ethically unsupportable, but because she is proud that she invented Severance and is upset she's not getting credit for it. So I still really don't trust her, and it was really scary when Mark S was truly asking, why are you here? And I'll be really curious to see next season, does she continue to be an ally? And shout out to these amazing creators of this television show when Mark S says, the first thing I better wake up and see is the inside of this elevator, and just an amazing transition of him turning around and waking up to see the world's most terrifying new painting with every character who's ever been on Severance. The Exalted Victory of Cold Harbor is genuinely a scary painting though. There's something really uncanny valley about all of the paintings in this show, but this one in particular I think is really scary because it felt faded. Somebody started painting that forever ago. Kier animatronic, terrifying. Waffle Party card, adorable. Love that it was signed Love Mr. Milkshake. After all that Dylan's been going through this season, I feel kind of bad that he didn't necessarily get a crazy huge moment in this finale, but honestly, I felt very satisfied with how his arc this season wrapped up. And I thought Outie Dylan had the most appropriate possible response of fuck you, that's my wife. I totally get it. She's awesome. And I still respect you enough to let you choose. Honestly, that's the best response you could have possibly asked for. And seeing him swoop in to help save the day with Helly was really satisfying too. But honestly, maybe the saddest moment of the episode for me was this beautiful scene with Helly and Mark S at the desk. It's so conflicting too, because when I was watching in the moment, I was like, thank God for Helly. She's reasonable. She knows she has her priorities straight. I can't believe she's here to help him do the right thing. And by the end of the episode, I was like, fuck Helly R. Fuck Helly R. Because the scene was emotional and honest. She looks and she's at least she'll have a chance at living. It was devastating when he was like, but I want to live with you. That sucks. And it's so hard because this show manipulates you into rooting for them. And because Mark Scout and Mark S are such completely different characters, it feels like you're watching two different love stories. Until this episode and they shove it in your face and are like, is he one person or is he two? Which is also part of why it was so hard watching the scene at the birthing cabin, because Mark S seems so confident, yes, this is how reintegration... Bitch, you don't know how reintegration's gonna work. You don't know how it's gonna work. It's not happened yet. Nobody's really done it successfully, fully. So, kind of talking out of your ass. But I would too. So, I mean, I can't really judge. And guys, guys, fucking marching band. I just imagine that they were watching season 1 and like the music dance experience was more fun. How do we get Tremel Tillman to shake more ass on this show? He's such a little showman. His little dance, I mean, it was fucking amazing. Between him and his insanely tense conversation with the Kier animatronic, which at first felt like it was pre-recorded, but like definitely wasn't. But Milchick got some crazy good digs back at him too. Now it's interesting because on one hand, I do think Milchick is like, yes, I'm trying to like do this. I'm trying to be the best boss ever of the Severed Floor and like prove to you uppers that I hate that like I can inspire my team and make good things happen here. But also part of me has to wonder if the marching band was a distraction. How much does Lumen know about what's going on? And was it an intentional distraction? And based on a lot of the reactions, I don't think it was. Plus, if they really thought he was going to do that, why wouldn't they have more security? Unless the entire time Cold Harbor was ultimately a test of seeing if she saw him in his state, whether it would work. But I think that's so far-fetched. I don't think that's what happened. But isn't it such a good show that it makes you think that that could be true? You know, like, isn't that cool enough as is? Oh, and the hilarious thing, too, is I don't know if they knew when writing this season how much the internet just loves the Kier hymn now. Kier, chosen one, Kier. Yeah! The fact that they just have like a whole marching band on call is insane. Do they work every day? Why would the marching band be severed? Helly was talking to them as if they were for sure severed. So, like, what else are they doing? Who else are they seeing? Are there enough departments that they're, like, doing this every day? Like, what's up with that? And from this entire point on, this episode is relentless. Like, there's no breaks. Starting with them shoving Milchick in the bathroom, which was honestly devastating. Milchick is just out here, like, trying to do his best. And there is part of me that believes that Milchick could be permanently severed. I could go more into this theory later, but hence why this is all so important to him. When everybody else we know in Lumen management has like significant emotional or familial ties to this company. Just like in the after of the episode, Tremel Tillman was like, I got them a whole marching band and they still didn't appreciate me. Like, tell me why he was trapped in the bathroom and I still kind of felt bad for Milkshake. Tell me why. Now let's get back to talking with our friend from Mammalian's Nurturable and Mr. Drummond, my least favorite character on the show. Or I guess now my least favorite character no longer on the show. Watching the clips after the show, hearing Dan Erickson talk about how they hope that the violence was earned through the tension that's been building up all season. And I couldn't agree more. It was entirely earned. If this was every episode, it would feel excessive, but it didn't. It felt like they worked so hard to get those moments. Drummond was throwing Mark around like he weighed like nothing. It was insane. And I love that the goat was named Emil. Shout out to one of my besties, Emil. I love you. And god damn, when he switched and he accidentally pulled the trigger, that was crazy! And I can't get over this, and this to me may be the funniest, most interesting part of the episode, is that Mark Scout, when he's recording the video outside of the birthing retreat, he's like, I'm so sorry I did this for you. And then Mark S is like, it's not a nightmare, actually. We make do with the lives that we have down there. And then Mark Scout's first real experience is him literally awakening with like a body he just clearly murdered. Like, that's crazy. And then we finally see it. Mark sees Gemma. I wasn't even conscious of it in the episode. It wasn't until after the episode that I was like, oh wow, we really do see 4 versions of those characters. Outie Mark, Innie Gemma. Outie Mark, Outie Gemma. Miss Casey and Mark S. and Gemma Scout and Mark S. It was beautiful to see him coax her out of the room. And honestly, I'm really glad that Cold Harbor the room was just her disassembling the cradle. Emotionally violent to do if she remembered it. But honestly, I thought the room was gonna be like them killing her or worse. So it was nice that they'd kill her afterwards. It is crazy. I understand that this is the last major thing they needed her to fulfill to prove that this works and is withholding all barriers. But it's crazy to me they wouldn't keep her around just for a little bit. Or at least continue testing. Like, I don't understand. Like, morally, they don't have any issue with keeping, like, enslaved people there to test. I wonder if it's just not worth keeping her alive for. It was a beautiful reunion of them in the hallway when they got in the elevator. And then the hallway scene. This really was a difficult watch. This was a very hard scene to watch. But listening to Adam Scott explain it is that Mark S. is looking out the window, realizing he doesn't know this woman. He is not in love with her. He will immediately cease to exist. Most likely will never be alive again if he walks out the door. Versus he might get 10 minutes with the person he's in love with. That is the only way my brain can also rationalize and kind of make sense of that choice. Can you imagine finally seeing your husband after being essentially enslaved for years and then seeing him walk off with another girl instead of coming with you begging, pleading for him? And also, we don't necessarily know how much Gemma does or doesn't know about Severance. I would like to think that she was able to tell that he wasn't quite himself, but this was an incredibly traumatic and fast-paced moment for her. I guess big question is, does she still escape? Does she actually make it up those stairs, or does she follow him back in? Or does she get up to the lobby and is escorted back downstairs? The least likely thing, it seems to me, is that she would get out and go to the police and ring the bells on Lumen. I think either she would run out and then is like run into the woods, she goes into hiding, she tries to find somebody she trusts, or she follows him back in. Because again, we still don't know. Mark says he saw her dead body. Did she die and was brought back to life? Was she always alive and her death was truly faked? And at some point, she must have consented to part of this. We don't know why and we don't know how, and there's gotta be some reason that she was still there this whole time. Watching Mark and Helly run off, it felt like watching two people who were in love in high school be like, you can't keep us apart, we're gonna be together forever. It really pissed me off. It was a hard watch. But you know what? I would say this is a much better cliffhanger than season 1. Because at least I can live with this. The end of season 1 was like... And there's still so many big questions. The one that keeps rolling around in my head is, what was Lumen doing before the severance procedure? Like, what was their aim before that? And how does that really tie into their overall goals? How fast and what will the passage of time look like in this next season? It feels like they will probably immediately something will happen to them. I mean, there's alarm bells, everybody's looking for them. Also, there's only really two options. Either Mark goes home at the end of the day, so Lumen doesn't suspect him, so he doesn't suspect Lumen and everything is kosher, or they keep him there forever, because now having him or Gemma out is a huge liability. And we still don't fully know what was happening with Jamie again, why it was such a huge day for him specifically. Was revolving going to happen? How does Helly fold into all of it? So many questions. What did you guys think? Please tell me everything. My brain is so fried. But let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, me and my best friend Louie make videos like this all the time. So please subscribe, give us a like, a comment. Anything helps a small channel like us. And let me know what Severance theories you want me to talk about. It's all going to be swirling in my mind until the next season starts anyways. So anyways, that's all for me. Praise Kier.